My name's Paul Jason and I'm the motorcycle broker, and welcome to this interview with Gundula Tutt. And Gundula is a paint expert from the classic car world, and she's featured at Pebble Beach. Her work's featured all over the world. And we're very privileged to have her here because she's been working on the Amelia Island green frame with us. Gundula, welcome. And
hello.
Thank you for taking this time out to speak to everyone. The first thing we'd like to know is, who is Gundula Tutt and what is it you do?
It's a twisted story a bit, because I started out being an art restorer, learning the trade, studying art restoration and working on churches, medieval altar pieces and everything like that for some years after I finished university. As a freelancer with my own little company. And while I was doing that, I got a little bit astray, because I met a colleague at a project who was a car collector too.
Yeah.
And he introduced me into the strange world of historic vehicles, which I didn't have any clue about before. So, and as he, as an art restorer, already around 2000 addressed his vehicles in a different way than making it all new, because he knew it from his profession, to rather restore only what's damaged, not making the whole thing new, repaint the Mona Lisa completely or something like that.
Yeah.
He wanted to use authentic materials at the time for his cars, which were kind of considered to be obsolete, like nitrocellulose paint and things like that. And as in my university studies, we also reconstructed medieval paint materials and things like that. So you were
recreating paint that was hundreds or maybe 1,000 years old?
Yes. For example, these kind of egg tempera they used to illuminate the medieval handwriting books and everything like that, and to paint all these miniatures and everything like that.
Yeah.
So this is possible, and I thought, why shouldn't it be possible to reconstruct something from the 1930s then?
Yes.
It was a little bit, I think, more difficult than I thought in the beginning, but reading historic sources and experimenting with the materials, one thing came to the other, and in the meantime I worked together with experts in the paint industry who do special batches of old formulations for me.
Yes.
For the people who want to restore and also to repair their vehicles. Because the good thing is, if you want to repair an original nitrocellulose finish, you will not be able to do that with modern paint material.
No, they react.
It's chemically incompatible.
Yeah.
And so you can partly do repairs in damaged original surfaces and keep the rest with these old materials.
So you can remake nitrocellulose.
And you can remake it in every shade you want. It's also in metallics and effect paints.
Right.
You can match it to the existing color. And it's important, they are not forbidden for historic vehicles. They're still allowed for historic vehicles.
Okay, so everybody thinks or has thought it's completely outlawed. It's not true. It is possible.
Yes.
And Gundula, you make these paints.
I don't do it myself anymore in my basement like I started off. I have people in the paint industry, specialized small companies who do special batches of these materials for me and my customers and for the colleagues I work with.
And one such paint that we were just discussing before this is made from fish scales.
Oh yeah, this is a very mysterious material.
And it's herring. What this is it's not the actual fish scale. It's the iridescence material from fish scales. It's from herrings, isn't it?
Yeah, you usually use herrings or other fish that have very bright scales.
Yeah.
There's some other today rather rare sorts of fish you can do that from. But traditionally, herring is one of the fish.
And it's 40 kilos to make 1 kilo of...
No, it's about 40,000 herring to make 1 kilo of pigment.
40,000 herrings to make 1 kilo of pigment.
Yes,
that's not even the paint, that's just the pigment that goes into it.
It's a very mysterious and very exotic stuff. It was used for cars and vehicles since about the 1930s, before they had the aluminum flake effect paints.
Yeah.
Which followed soon after that. So, but they used that to give the cars a special appeal, a very special. It was extremely expensive also in the time. It was a kind of a plaything of the most luxurious way, and it was custom made also in the time. You couldn't buy it from the shelf.
And you've made some of this.
I experimented with fish silver I found in a old painter's shop, and there was a little box of this pearlescent powder, and we found out it was real fish scale. So I experimented with that, and I hope that there will be a project sometime where I can do that on a whole car.
And you've made some.
I made some paint.
Since
I
then.
made spray
You've
samples,
made some.
but I didn't put it on a car yet.
Yeah.
And
But you have the paint.
Yes, and I found out how it acts when it ages. It will not stink of fish. When I didn't know. I thought, okay, this is an organic material made from fish. Maybe when this paint is kind of aging, the car or the surface starts smelling fishy.
Yeah.
No, it does not. It behaves like all other kind of nitrocellulose vehicle paints of the time.
And of course it yellows like our
It yellows,
Ducati
yes,
has upstairs.
Of course, yes.
And how long have you been doing automotive paint now?
I started around 2002 with my first experiments.
So it's 20 years now you've been doing this?
Yeah,
Just over?
Yeah, a little bit more than 20 years. Of course, in the beginning, I earned money with working on art because this is what I was making my business with. And this funded then my experimenting.
Yeah.
And my first bigger car project was in 2006.
Right.
So since then, since about 2009, I decided to not work on art anymore and just to put everything into this vehicle effort.
Yeah.
Because you have to make a decision sooner or later what you want to do. Jumping between these
What
two
do you want
worlds
to do
is
when you
so
grow up?
difficult. Yeah, and it needed some courage to really let go of what you knew would kind of support you.
Yeah.
But today I have customers all over the world. I travel all the continents, and it was the right decision.
Yeah.
It makes me a living, and it makes me an interesting life.
Yes. And your vehicles also appear at Pebble Beach regularly.
I had several vehicles or projects I was involved with that went to Pebble Beach, either for preservation class or also complete reconstructions of paint jobs like they were made in the time but made new, because there was nothing to kind of conserve on the car anymore. They had been restored or changed in color several times already, so there's nothing to be preserved or preservation class on these projects.
Excellent.
And then you can reconstruct it in the most authentic way when you use the materials.
Yeah.
Like a brush paint, oil-based paint on a Barlow, for example, a Barlow race car.
Yeah.
And things like that.
That's wonderful. Thank you for that, Gundula. So this is Gundula Tutt, who we are working with on the Amelia Island green frame. This is what she does, and in the description below here you will find a link to her website. I highly recommend reading it. It's fascinating work, and she's worked on some incredible cars, and now she's worked on some incredible motorcycles.
This is new for me, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Excellent, thank you. My name's Paul Jason, I'm the motorcycle broker, and this is Gundula Tutt.